Gentlemen, I am here in an attempt to close this facility. One bed at a time, one cell at a time, one block at a time, and then one building at a time. My name is Darrell Cofield, and I represent an organization called Healing Communities. We work with churches, masjids, kingdom halls, and other houses of worship to first get them to recognize that they have some members that may be secretly dealing with having a member of their family incarcerated. We then talk to them about reducing the stigma and shame in their church about this. We also talk to them about identifying these members, the families in their congregations, to help reach out to those of you that may be incarcerated. We add the church to a network of organizations that can help you when you are released be successful in your transition in such areas as housing, jobs, schooling, and drug treatment. But lastly, and more importantly, we want to help find you a mentor or a coach. And that is why I am here today. Let me ask you a question. What is the number one need you feel you have to have when you leave here? A job, right? Well, it's funny, we asked a number of your brethren that were being released across the country the same question, and they had the same answer, a job. As a matter of fact, 96% of them thought they needed a job in order to be successful. But I have another number for you. We asked these same gentlemen who managed to stay out of prison, didn't recidivate back in a year later, what helped them be successful, what kept them out of jail, and 68% of them said family and friends. Again, this is why I am here. Studies showed that a lot of black men had a full-time job when they got arrested. We have found that it is not jobs, it's not housing, it's not drug treatment, but the two top needs that you need to be successful when you leave here, or what will help you to recidivate, is antisocial thinking and antisocial companions. That is, the wrong thinking and the wrong friends. Let's say I were to get you a house, a $100,000 house out on the main line, and I got you a job that paid $75,000 a year. But you thought the same way you did before you got arrested, and you hung around the same friends you did before you got arrested, it wouldn't be long before you found yourself right back in here. It's all about decisions. It's all about choices. Now, I'm not going to stand here before you and act like I've lived so high and mighty. I've made some bad decisions. I've made some bad choices that could have had me spend more time in jail than I did. I've spent a measly 12 days in jail. I was accused of stealing some money from my job. Went through the arrest booking process, fingerprinted, searched, interrogated by detectives. The detectives told me that I couldn't move, that I had to stay at the same address, and that they would get back to me. A number of years later, I'm driving around in Horsham, but the car I was driving had a wrong sticker on it. Cops pulled me over. A bunch of cops came on the parking lot where we were. Come to find out, I had a bench warrant on me that was 10 years old. I had to go back to court. They gave me a court date and told me I would need 3 days off. I went to the brand new job I had, and they told me that I could not take this time off. So I didn't go to court. Bad decision. Got stopped over in Jersey. Knew I had the bench warrant on me, so when they stopped me, I knew I was going to jail. Went to jail. I was in Camden County Prison until my parents got $10,000 together to get me out of jail. This time, excuse me, this time I went to court. The case was thrown out, free and clear. A number of years later, I was in another bit of trouble. I beat up a guy that said something about my mother, who was very, very sick at the time. Went to court. That was a bad decision. on my part and his part. Went to court, and if it wasn't for my church family, my friends, I might have ended up going to jail for that. I had a pretty bad temper. I had a long fuse, but once that fuse wore down. But what I realized through all of this was not only did my family and friends love me, but God loved me. And what I'm here to tell you is that God has not forgotten about you. God loves the inmate. And this is how I know. There are a number of inmates in the Bible. Let's go biblical. I'm going to go biblical on you. In Genesis, we have Joseph. Joseph was an inmate. God eventually got him to be the second highest position in Egypt at that time. Jeremiah the prophet was an inmate. He was in solitary confinement. Daniel, the author of the book of Daniel, was an inmate. So were his three best friends, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, better known as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were inmates. In the New Testament, the two books that Peter wrote, he was an inmate. As a matter of fact, he was an inmate. God gave him early release. He went to knock on the church door of the church. They couldn't believe God let him out. They wouldn't let him in. The writer of the book of Revelation, John, he was an inmate. He was exiled to the island of Patmos. The writer of most of the books in the New Testament, Paul, was an inmate. He was an inmate when he wrote the book of Ephesians and Philippians. And lastly, Jesus. He was an inmate. He was an inmate when he died on the cross. I say all of this because we want you to make it. We need you to make it. Who am I talking about when I say we? Your family, your parents, your children, your wives, your girlfriends, your neighborhood, your community. We need you. We need your talents. I know there's talent in this room. There was a test given, an entrepreneurial test, given to inmates and given to some job owners and college graduates who wanted to own their own business. The inmates outscored the college graduates and the business owners. You all were running your own businesses as if you were hustling out in the street when you got arrested. So you know what it takes to run a business. Again, I say, we need you. But you have to want to make it. And want to believe that you can make it. And we want to be there. We want to have somebody walk with you, to talk with you. My boss, Dr. Trulier, he was an inmate. He had a real good friend of his who got out of prison. The inmate called him one day and said, "Do you know this probation officer, this PO?" Dr. Trulier said, "Yeah, I know her. She was cool with me." The dude says, "She's a B, man. She's a B." And he didn't say B, but called her a B. So Dr. Trulier said, "Well, what happened?" "Well, I missed my first meeting with her because the envelope came in the mail and I didn't open it." Dr. Trulier said, "Well, you missed your first meeting and she didn't throw you in jail. Chill." Week later, dude calls him, "Man, she a B. She a B." Dr. Trulier said, "Okay, what does she do now?" "Well, you know, I help people move, and the guy I work for had a job for me where I could have earned $1,000 over a weekend by helping somebody move down to Florida. And she wouldn't let me go." So Dr. Trulier said, "Okay, let's get this. Let me get you to understand. You missed your first PO meeting. You haven't been out of jail 2 to 3 weeks, and you want her to let you go 1,000 miles away on a weekend with an ankle bracelet on." These are the kind of things that a coach or mentor will be able to help you with. When you get close to that edge and you just want to return back to that lifestyle, that's what the coach or mentor is there for you. They want to help you think clearly, make decisions, and make good choices. But you have to do something here. The first step is to take one of these applications, fill it out, and help us find a coach or mentor for you. We want to take some time to sit down with you, to interview you, find out what you like, what you don't like, so that we can match you with somebody appropriate. A number of our mentors have been where you are. They can help you because they've been successful and they want to help you be successful. But the next step I'm going to ask you is, once you've been out, once you've been successful, I need you to reach back. Take somebody by the hand and help them be successful. Remember, I opened up this presentation with you telling you that we wanted to close this facility. We want to close it one bed, one cell, one block, and then close this building. Thank you.